Hey everyone, welcome to Real Circle. I'm Stephanie Massey. This is Libby. This is where we talk about real things in real estate. So I'm excited that you're here for today's episode because today we are talking about working with buyers, setting boundaries and expectations, which is a big topic for real estate, especially when there's lots of buyers out there that have a difference of opinion. You, as an agent, have the right to set those from the very beginning to make sure that things go smoothly throughout the transaction. So, I'm going to be sharing a little bit of my experiences and what works for me when I meet buyers and how I get things started off on a good foot. The first is obviously your first conversation, which is such an important conversation in real estate. When you initially make that contact with your buyers, obviously you're going to be trying to get all the information that you can and make sure that they are set up correctly so that you guys can have a smooth transaction. As you know, one of the first and most important questions that you can ask is, are they working with a real estate agent already? Now, I have recently shifted my words from, are you currently working with a real estate agent, to, have you signed documents with a real estate agent? Big difference. And because the changes for the contracts and having a buyer broker signed before you can even open a door, it's huge. Everybody's working with an agent. Everybody knows an agent in their life. So if you say, are you working with an agent? Oh, yes, yes. I just wanted to get your opinion or see if you could open this door for me or blah, blah, blah. I have changed my wording to, have you signed anything with a real estate agent? Because a lot of times they're like, no, nope, which means I can help them. I can initiate the conversation. I can talk to them about that document that has to be signed before we can open doors. I really like this approach. It seems to be working really well, especially with the new changes, and it protects me and it protects my buyer all before we get started on the journey of looking for homes. So I definitely suggest that. Obviously, the second thing that is huge and important is, how are they purchasing the home? If they're paying cash, great. Do they have the proof of funds? Right now, a lot of the buyers I'm working with, their funds are in stocks or in different markets that they have to pull in order to close, which has taken some time. So I make sure that even if it's cash, how quickly do you have access to those funds? The second is the pre-qual. Most of the buyers right now are getting qualified. Have they spoken to a lender? If not, I give them recommendations on a lender. If they have, I always reach out to the lender. It's so important to have a conversation with the lender that they've already spoken to, already gotten pre-qualified. That way we know close date, we know down payment, we know if they need concessions. So that's a big part of kind of that first conversation, which can be lengthy, but can provide so much information, and it can be so helpful so that your guys' transaction can be smooth all the way from the beginning. The next would be, when I work with a buyer, something that's very important is setting boundaries. So I have had to learn this. This is not something that comes easily to me because I am the type, when it comes in, I do it. When they text me, I respond. When they're calling, I answer, which has been great and good for my business in so many ways. But I have had to learn, I have to set those boundaries and the expectations from the beginning, because if I'm answering my phone at 10:30 at night just for my buyer to tell me that they're moving along and want to look at houses in 2 weeks, it is not important at 10:30 at night when I should be doing things, for my family or for me personally. So that's something that I recommend. Is, I do think that there's times in real estate when you have to respond at 10:30 at night. Trust me. We have even submitted a Binzer at 11:50 p.m. at night. Like, it makes sense that you have to work around the clock at certain times, but not all the time. And setting that expectation with your buyer from the beginning is important, so that you have those boundaries, so that you don't go crazy and you can work or be with your family or do what you need to do during those hours. And then the last thing with working with a buyer that I wanted to talk about is definitely the personal connection, which is partly one of my favorite parts of working with buyers. I love getting to know my buyers and what's important to them and what's going on in their life, which typically always comes with buying a house, right? They are going to explain to me what they want, why they want it, whether they want to be close to family, whether they want a 3-bedroom because they have a baby on the way. I try and really connect with what I can and see what I can do to connect those dots and pull in those personal touches that will match our transaction. Even down to, sometimes I'll listen to something that they say that they wish they had, or that they liked that the seller had in the home. I recently had a client who, we walked to the house, they put an offer on it, and then during the walkthrough they had said, oh, it was so cute how she had her little coffee bar set up. And so as their closing gift, I bought my client some cute little things that kind of looked like hers to go on the coffee bar to match. And so just being aware of your buyer's needs, their personal touches, the things they like and they don't like, and listening is very important when working with buyers. It makes them feel like you are responding and being there for them so that they can, make this huge transaction and purchase, but also not have to worry about those things that mean so much to them. So that's a few of my tidbits for working with buyers, getting started off on a good foot. I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you next time on Real Circle.